This anime is like a lot of other animes, but all in one. There are cool powers with cool animations, waifus that like you because they see your redeeming qualities. This show features Megane, Will Serfort, the Rizzler with no magical abilities. There's no better shonen MC name than Will, because when there's a will, there's a way. For our magicless hero, expect by the first episode's end, you will be rizzed. This is the story of Wistoria, Wand, and Sword. In this video, we'll cover episode 1, Like a Lone Sword. The episode starts off in the magic school with Edward Sensei asking the MC Will Serfort to bring his little magicless ass down to prove how useless he is. I mean, what scrub can't make fire? What a bum, what a loser. You should quit because you're an embarrassment to our school. Man, this teacher's an asshole. Then, a female archetype we all know well in animes, Sympathy Booty. As everyone is making fun of our boy Will, a fellow female student feels totally bad for him. Is this the main piece of sympathy ass he'll get later? After eventually and deservingly so, after he becomes a real man? Only time will tell. You're just a Megane, Will, a four-eyed freak that is all smarts, no magic. And here comes the typical soulless redheaded douchebag antagonist, Shion, to show up the MC to make him feel like an even worser, inept human being. In this world, magic is everything, establishing a social hierarchy through meritocracy of your magical talents. Those that possess magical talents end up being this world's heroes, meaning we are establishing a recurring shonen theme for our hero, Megane, Will Serfort, who can't even use basic magic. What a bum. Edward Sensei basically trashes our poor magicless meek Will for his ineptitude, but Will he still at least get some sympathy ass? Oh, it's coming. The soulless redhead with his two lackeys, dumbass 1 and less dumbass 2. Two 6-year regarded magical academy students goes to bully our meek Megane Will Serfort, making fun of him for fighting in a dungeon to scrape up some credits to barely graduate. Just as our redheaded bully is ready to embarrass Will further, an attractive piece of sympathy ass comes marching in with all this masculine energy that meek Will apparently lacks. Colette Loire, the sympathy booty, pulls up to protect our future magicless hero from the grips of another soulless redhead student in Shion. After the soulless redhead gets berated by a female more masculine than our MC, he laughs off the sympathy booty and tells Will he'll never become the Wizard King. Wait, that's the wrong anime. He'll never become a Magyar vendor. Whatever that is. I guess the lore is coming. Oh my god, is that supposed to be cute? Alright, it is. Meek, Megane Will, and Sympathy Booty Colette go for a little stroll to cheer up our boy that doesn't have enough magical testosterone and lacks magical kinniku. Sympathy Booty works her way to try to get behind those glasses. The logic within meek Will tells him that the red-headed soulless douchebag is speaking truth to power about his non-existent magical abilities. Sympathy Booty can't believe her sympathy ass isn't working, but our MC is a lot more sly than what his physical appearance appears to be, and slides past her protective sympathy to drop some meek Megane Riz.
I'm lucky to have a cute girl like you protecting me.
Sympathy Booty is flustered and caught off guard and didn't realize Megane had such magical riz within him, and she becomes red-faced, feminine, flustered like, listen here Buster, that sweet talk don't work on me, I like the meek and weak like you. I mean, I'm not supposed to say the quiet part out loud, but quit rizzing me! You don't understand, Sympathy Booty, I was born and bred to have riz. Colette Loire, not used to this charming riz, is condescendingly telling our boy to slow his roll with his meek riz that's giving her insides the tickles, making her face closer to the color of her hair.
I am Colette Loire, the daughter of a very noble fandom. There's no way this meekly magicless boy is rizzing me right now.
The riz continues without Rizzler Will even trying. Your boy watches upon the beauty of this world with his 4 eyes and rizzes Sympathy Booty again by telling her today is so damn
Kirei.
without even realizing it. Our meek Rizzler and Sympathy Booty begins this anime as a strong potential ship that we can all get behind. And then suddenly, It's not. Before the scene switches, Magier Vendor is referenced by the Sympathy Booty as the most powerful wizards that protect the light in the sky. This anime is totally like 10 different animes in one, and it's like 10 other JRPGs in one. And then we seamlessly transition into the gleaming light of the story, the lore. There once upon a time, there was no known light in the sky. People were living immersed in darkness. Some magical entity used and abused the people of this world until the legend of the amazing Gonin Mahoskai beats the crap out of whatever the thing is that Will is referencing. These 5 incredible wizards known as the Magier Vendor, the name bestowed upon the Saikyo Mahoskai, raise up their magical wands and blow this whatever entity back to somewhere. In return for defeating this entity of terror, it provided the light for the people, bringing peace and harmony to the world so that the meek and the Sympathy Booty can riz each other with peace of mind. Everybody, and I mean everybody, wants to be a mage. Mahoskai ni naritai! It flashes back to the carrot colored hair of Colette, the easily flustered one with tons of sympathy for the meek Will. Like how humans deify things for their mental peace of mind, the Sympathy Booty asks meek Will if the ice made his magical wand. Albus Vina is watching over their unintentional rizzing. Megane Will's unintentional rizzing is so strong that it seems to have crossed dimensions to this frosted colored waifu. Will's vision is so strong with his 4 eyes. He answers Colette's question, providing details that Albus Vina is totally watching over them, and she's chilling at the top of the tower, possibly seeing if your boy has been cheating on her. Wait a minute, we are not there yet. She's sitting by a window, blessing them with her beauty, and she's totally the symbol for our boy. He may not have magic, but he got some crazy ass magical riz. It flashes back to a younger Will speaking to a younger frosted haired girl named Elfaria, dreaming of the wonders of the world where in the real sky, there's totally a real sun and a real moon. One day, just one day, if they metaphor their way onto the top of the symbol, a tower, obtaining the status as a Magier Vendor, they too can see a real sun and a real moon in the real sky. And to top it off with a real sunset. If you thought Rizzler Will was just a joke, well, the joke's on you. Meek Will may be meek, but that doesn't stop Megane Will from seeing the gleam of a dream. A dream that he shall pinky swear with this young frosted haired girl named Elfaria, who shares the same gleam of the same dream. In this promise, the Rizzler locks pinkies with Elfaria that they will metaphor their way to the top of the symbol to see some real shit together. This little Rizzler is totally a monster in the making. Bro got carrot hair colored chicks, frosted hair colored chicks. Next thing you know, he'll be completing a whole double rainbow. Just like how Hibino Kafka in Kaiju number 8 is chasing that childhood promise to get into Captain Ashiro's walls, this little 4-eyed meek and magicless Rizzler is chasing this little frosted hair colored waifu as well. Just like how Hibino Kafka has Kikoru Shinomiya as a tsundere waifu partner in crime, you can bet your Sympathy Booty ass Colette Loire will be somewhere by his side cheering Meek Will on to reach his symbol at the top. Apparently Elfaria was the only one with a real gleam capable of achieving the metaphorical dream by making Magier Vendor a reality for herself. Our MC Megane Meek Will has no magical talents. In a world where meritocracy and your magical abilities is social currency, magic is absolute power. Saino Tensai, the frosted haired waifu, is that. But Will, he's just a little Rizzler. But if we know anything about what it takes to be a shonen protagonist, nothing will stop this untalented, 4-eyed, meek Rizzler from keeping his promise to this frosted-haired waifu. He shall, and I mean he shall, get berated by Werkner Sensei? Apparently, our little meek Rizzler, Will, has been training inside these dungeons, soloing the 7th floor to obtain credits to graduate. Werkner Sensei berates our 4-eyed MC Rizzler for putting himself in extreme danger as the meek and Will bows down and apologizes to authority. Even though our MC Rizzler seems like he's doing something he shouldn't have, Professor Werkner still gives him 2 credits for killing some evil guard and daps up the
Yeah.
Werkner Sensei continues the trend of everyone telling the talentless Rizzler to give up on being a Magier vendor, going against all the shonen odds that are actually in his shonen favor. Werkner Sensei starts telling him about the steps to get to the metaphorical top. First, you need to get into the Upper Institute. Rizzler will need to learn how to write, shoot pew-pews out of his little wand in praxis. He needs to earn credits from all these fields of study to advance, but the Rizzler, ironically, can't shoot pew-pews. In order for our four-eyed Rizzler will to make up for his inability to shoot pew-pews, he shall gain even more credits by going through the dungeon solo. Werkner Sensei continues on that trend of telling our Rizzler will about statistics. The odds are against you. No one solos these goddamn dungeons. What are you trying to achieve is reserved for shonen main characters. Do you really think you're one of them, you meek four-eyed unintentional rizzing machine that can't use magic?
Demo.
Werkner Sensei gets the Rizzler to face his current reality of not even having enough credits to even graduate, even failing to gain any credits from his recent exams. So forget anything about this Magier vendor. Will, on his knees in peak meek form, is informed that he must gain 4 credits by the end of the week, or it's too late. And unfortunately for our meek Will, that's in like 2 days. So he puts his meek to sleep and will his way to the top of the symbol. There's nothing more shonen than willpower. Werkner Sensei feels bad for the Rizzler's position and drops some hints to earn some more credits. It mentions something about a Baskerville on the 6th floor. I like how this anime just starts saying stuff like we're supposed to know these things. What the hell's a Baskerville? The Rizzler will gives his utmost appreciation to our sensei, but something soulless had other plans, being nosy. Shion overhears the Rizzler and Werkner Sensei's conversation about defeating a Baskerville on the 6th floor. If this red-headed soulless buffoon can get rid of the Baskerville before the Rizzler does, that's just one less soul he has to worry about. This episode so far gave us a little bit of, exposition, the lore, some characters with easily identifiable archetypes, put in some cliche anime scenarios, and now there's nothing like a red-headed soulless bully antagonist that gets the blood boiling. And also, we get our real sensei shonen mentor to our MC. He clearly knows our little Rizzler will a lot more than he's letting on. And it seems like he's just pushing Will's buttons to see how far he's willing to go against the grain. So the first half of the episode is really putting together all these things that we already know about anime. There's a little bit of Black Clover in this. There's a little bit of Kaiju number 8 in this. How many animes at this point is some kind of fantasy magic? We got the waifus put in that sympathy position for our MC that sees the good side of our MC. And of course, we got our douchebag antagonist who's like a rival to our MC. While everything is very familiar so far, this is where things start to kind of diverge to make its own uniqueness for this anime. It jumps ahead to the Rizzler boisterous, excited about being able to achieve his 4 credits, yet we all know there's a certain soulless redhead lurking in the shadows, along with the mysterious monsters that we do not know what they're capable of yet. The Rizzler gets into a conversation with his Kiki about not getting into a situation where she almost got burnt to a crisp the last time they took down a Baskerville. The story has been hinting more and more that our boy Rizzler Will has been doing dungeons solo. He's been taking out strong monsters. The story is just setting us up for our little meek Will that's actually not gonna be so meek. Then the soulless breed comes marching around the 6th floor, projecting his insecurities along with his 2 lackeys, dumbass number 1 and less dumbass number 2. Dumbass number 1 agrees with their soulless leader, while less dumbass 2 questions if it's a totally good idea for the 3 of them to be doing what they're doing, because it's pretty damn dangerous around here. When you are a soulless antagonist, the Dark Triad runs deep within this ego. Don't question the red-headed elite less dumbass too. This scene digs a little deeper into the soulless' consciousness as someone like the Four-Eyed Rizzler, who can't even use magic, utters the dream of achieving the status of Magier Vendor. It's like a hallucination, an offensive hubris, a spit in the face to the elites, like himself, that actually have a better chance at achieving the dream of being at the top of the symbol, where the top tier frosted waifu exists. The soulless red-headed antagonist of this episode gets too full of himself to go as far as to take matters in his own hands, and then, as he speaks to his two lackeys, a monster takes matters into his own hands as well. You know it's the MC's time when he doesn't even have his glasses on. The Rizzler hears an agonizing scream and wills himself along with Kiki into action. Well buddy, we're about to see our little Rizzler in action. And you can bet, while he doesn't have magical capabilities, your boy Will focuses on what he can do physically. Our Mega Nailless Rizzler runs fast as hell to investigate the screams and jumps down to see what kind of disastrous situation is going on. Our soulless red-headed antagonist has been tickling this monster with his little wand. While sitting on his ass, Rizzler Will notices that this creature is an evil sentinel. Whatever that means. But that sounds sinisterly strong. This evil sentinel is worth over 10 credits and is a real over 5 enemy, whatever that means too. But 10 credits means it's 2.5 times stronger than the Baskerville, since that one is only worth 4 credits. Our Rizzler is flabbergasted that a monster that should be dwelling in the deeper floors must have gotten curious, likely getting hungry from sniffing a certain red-headed soulless douchebag, or that some other undisclosed situation or nefarious may have occurred. The evil sentinel gets ready to smush the red out of the redhead, and the Rizzler notices that the person fighting this monster is indeed Xion. Xion continues tickling the evil sentinel, and the Rizzler Will questions why he keeps tickling him with his wand. And so the Rizzler Will springs into action. Wait a minute. No, he doesn't. The meek Rizzler thinks about all the times the soulless redhead tried to suck the soul out of his life. If it wasn't for sympathy booty, he'd be even more meek. Rizzler Will is at a crossroads with his morality, with this being his bully moments away from meeting his wits end, which means he's moments away from seeing his school bully issues vanish in a sea of red. It's not until we get a flashback of Meek Will remembering why he's that guy. He's that guy with that nice guy Riz. Elfaria, aka Elfie, reminds our little Rizzler why many girls get rizzed by his underappreciated talents. It's because he's a kind, brave, and all of the above shonen characteristics leave it to a lady to get a man to realize his true potential. Rizzler Will starts putting back on his all-seeing eye goggles that was given to him, or back to him, from the flashback from the frosted-haired colored future Magier Vendor, all the while saying contradicting things to himself about being none of those shonen characteristics. With the anticipation brewing, the thought of reaching Elfie, and the promise that he kept to her, but a shonen MC must shonen MC. He wants to keep this promise, and he finally springs into action. He is Megane Will, the Rizzler, a man that shall be a Magier Vendor, and he shall overcome any moments of meekness. With Elfie in mind, his doubts were alleviated, and he magnificently stops the evil sentinel with his dazzling sword to save the truly meek one, the noble soulless redhead. During this fight, Edward Sensei comes barging into Werkner Sensei's office to complain that the redheaded, full of himself noble, went into the dungeon with his 2 goons all by themselves. He tells Werkner Sensei to use his familiar to locate them before the red gets smushed out of the redhead. Werkner Sensei asks what floor they were headed to, and Edward Sensei mentions number 6. So Werkner Sensei couldn't help but put on a big grin on his sensei self as he tells Edward Sensei the little red-headed noble and his goons are about to get a reality check. Werkner Sensei tells Edward Sensei the boy with the supposed meek riz is a future Rizzler of the world. It's just not the kind of Riz that society appreciates, but as long as chicks dig it, it doesn't matter what people think. Rizzler Will battles the evil Sentinel in a clang combat. He catches the monster slipping and takes a pinky away in an anime figure worthy pose. The monster gets angry like roar because it lost one of his good fingers, and the Rizzler Will must dodge his angry reactionary tirade. I would say that the redheaded looked like his soul was leaving him, seeing Rizzler Will out-riz him, but what he is witnessing is just facts. Edward Sensei is informed by Werkner Sensei, showing him his crystal ball of watching Will defy how he sees the world. Will is no pew pew mage. Will has that different kind of Riz. He is Megane Will, the Rizzler that fights with his mighty lone sword. He is a boy that is becoming a real man with his superhuman strength, with a body as powerful and compact like a dwarf, with his all-seeing 4 eyes, can grasp the enemy's capabilities just by seeing them fight once. Rizzler Will dodges the monster swing and sees another opportunity to hack off another limb, and so his rizzing of the audience continues as he slashes off another arm, and the monster's blood ends up raining all over the dungeon. While Will is in a world where magic determines your value to the world, Will is the only known shonen in this world that can riz you with his mighty sword. Because he's a one-of-a-kind Megane Rizzler Will, the warrior Senshi. The soulless one can't help but feel powerless as he watches on as the monster gets ready to send a gigantic mouth beam at Rizzler Will, but this beam is no match for our Rizzling warrior as he has the eyes of a true shonen. As it zooms in with a single swing of his sword, his powers go beyond the powers of even lightning. And just like that, we've all been rizzed by the MC as the monster's head goes flying off to the distance as he walked towards the scared soulless redhead in a majorly impressive fashion to show the redhead he ain't no meek Will no more. Rizzler Will takes it even further to humble Shion and asks a question that no bully can stomach. Fuck! Edward Sensei slams the table. This gotta be a Jodan, right? This puts into question not only Shion, but Edward Sensei's entire understanding of how the world works, of putting all the eggs into the magical basket. While magic is supposed to reign supreme, the Rizzler has the ability to rise to the top of the symbol using other means. His lone sword. Edward Sensei storms out of Werkner Sensei's office, being humbled by what he saw, and the audience gets that rizzing sense of satisfaction that everyone that treated our Rizzling hero poorly got what they deserved. All the while, he gets one step closer to living up to his promise to his frosted-haired waifu. Remember thy name. He is Will, the Rizzler of the Lone Sword, who unintentionally rizzes all the waifus without even trying, and destroys all you know about how the world works. This is our Shonen MC, and you have been officially rizzed. It transitions back into meek Will as he is being scolded by Werkner Sensei. Will Serfort is awarded his 10 credits anyways, which is more than enough to allow him to advance one step closer to the symbol. This is the story of Wistoria, Wand and Sword. Well, this is a fun little start to a new anime. It really does feel like a bunch of other animes in one. Usually the first episodes have to hook you in somehow, so it felt like it just took a lot of elements that any anime watcher already knows to get us to understand how this world works. And I think it did a good job of establishing all the main points within 20 minutes. This anime takes many archetypes, many anime tropes that we all know and love, in a fantasy magical world we are all too familiar with. It really is a very familiar start to an anime, but there's hope that things are going to be a little bit different. There are some different and unique aspects to our MC, Will Serfort, in his rizzling ways. His situation of not being able to use magic, it is very similar to Asta off of Black Clover, but there are a lot of differences besides that. He does have a little bit more meek and passive personality than an Asta, and usually the geeky characters with glasses, they're typically the side characters. But in this case of our rizzling Will Serfort, that geeky four-eyed archetype is thrusted as the MC. So far, it really does seem like our main character is a very goody two shoes, gets bullied around a little bit, gets saved by other chicks that feel bad for him. So I did like when there's just a little bit of glimmer of faulty personality, a personality defect, something to overcome. When Will was watching Xion almost die, that is one of those relatable moments that you can feel for the character. Who are we to judge, and will we even feel bad? Or should we even judge someone that has been bullied? I mean, who would blame him for letting his school bully just go ahead and die? But shonen is gonna shonen, and the power of the waifu is just so strong. So overall, from the story standpoint and everything that we know about this anime of magic and the cool physical powers that Will has, so far it's a pretty cool setup. But since it's way too familiar, there needs to be more episodes to kind of let the story explore these characters that are very, very close to many other characters that we already know. So the question becomes, how will our MC differentiate himself from many other shonen protagonists, and how will all these other waifu-like kind of characters, what kind of unique characteristics will they bring to this story? So yeah, I looked up the animation studio as well and was surprised to see Bandai Namco Pictures and a subsidiary of them in Actus. The only anime I really recognize from the list is Gintama, and I didn't really watch Gintama, but so far in episode 1 the animation seems really good. So like an anime like a Demon Slayer animated by Ufotable, that story, it's a lot more basic, but sometimes you can compensate with a lot of other aspects that are really good. And I'm really looking forward to really cool fights and how they're gonna keep animating at this level. So yeah, when it comes to animation, that's just not my specialty. It's good or it's not good. Is it amazing or is it not? And so far, it's definitely above average from what I can tell. Summertime animes is always really interesting because all the big ones are usually during the winter, during the spring. So I don't really have high hopes for this anime, but there are a lot of intriguing things that I hope that I can keep covering before I get too bored. I hope for you guys and myself that this is going to be something memorable for us to watch together. If you guys have been reading the manga or just start watching the anime like I did, let me know what you guys think. But remember to respect the journey. Don't spoil, because we all die anyways. It's always a lot more fun to just enjoy the ride. So yeah guys, let me know what you guys think about this anime with Storia, wand, and sword. You got an MC that is the opposite of what everyone else has, which is magic. And you have these attractive waifus for our MC. So the setup of the story, it has all the elements to make it a good one. So hopefully this story takes us on the ride that we can all enjoy. So yeah guys, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Check out my blog at otakusen.com. I got some old stuff there, but I'm sure if you guys end up reading it, you'll enjoy it. And I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.